Legion Gaming. I'm your host, Donnie, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Deucy.
Hello, and welcome to Die.
That's a great intro.
Especially for this topic.
Yeah, fantastic. Deucy, how are you on this fanciful evening?
I'm great. I'm fully fed, so I'll be lethargic.
It'll be funny because when people listen to this and then listen to like DKC 3, they'll connect that, we record a couple in a row, and they're like, oh, well, I guess he wasn't fed in DKC 2, but he was fed in 3. Wasn't fed in DK64, but fed in, this episode about one topic that was suggested. Was it your wife who suggested this one?
Yep, she's got another banger on this one.
Another banger on this list. So today we decided to have another sort of loose conversation and some discussion on the worst and toughest bosses in gaming, at least to our memories. But before we get to that, Deucy, what have you been playing?
So I have gotten away from my Switch ever since I beat Link's Awakening. Went back to some Xbox and shuffled through the Game Pass, and I started up, I guess just on a whim, Vampire Survivors.
Oh, yes. That's how I played it originally, was on Game Pass, yeah.
And I was immediately hooked, and just every time I think I'm going to play a quick little match before something, oh, nope, it ends up being like a half an hour or close to it, because like time limits on the levels are half hours, and I get really close, and then when I stop, I'm like, I could go one more.
Yeah, I really like this game because I think it was originally a mobile game, or I don't know if it came out on Xbox first. Whatever the case was, it was a small indie game. It's by one developer. Mm-hmm. And this game, it's I guess, can we describe it as like a roguelite maybe? I don't know if we want to describe it that way.
It's very interesting. It's like a twin stick shooter, but without the shooting stick.
Yeah, this can all be controlled with a single stick.
Yeah.
So you're constantly, you're shooting whatever weapon you have, because there's a lot of different characters in here, and then you're just moving around the battlefield with one stick. So it's interesting that you can, and I imagine on mobile it's fine too, because you only need the one place, your one thumb on there too.
Yeah, wherever you move. And this one is nice. You can use either stick. So it's like, oh, if my left thumb is getting tired, I'll go with the right stick.
Yeah, you can swap. It just auto shoots, and then it shoots in generally the direction you're pointing, which is fine.
Yeah, based on like the weapon description and what it will do.
Yeah, and it's like a horde twin stick shooter game with like when you die, you have your coins left over, and you can buy characters. I think you buy health and all that good stuff too, right? Some upgrades.
Yeah, you can buy little upgrades like a percentage upgrade to your health or your armor or the speed of the weapon, that sort of thing. Yeah,
and each run you have, it has different drops and different abilities that drop, which make the game that much more exciting too. Because that's what happens. Is I love these games where it's like you said, Deuce, you have that one more round kind of mentality where maybe you don't get like the best random drops, but maybe you will in the next run.
There was one run where I barely lasted like 5 minutes because I just got the worst weapon drops that the combinations didn't work together.
Yeah,
and I was like, nah, just kill me.
Yeah, and it came out on Switch pretty recent. That was the last recent console it came out on, because it was on Xbox, PS4/5, and PC and mobile. If you don't have this game, honestly, just go buy it. It's $4, like just on normally. Like it's the one developer, and it's sold millions at this point. I think it's gotten a ton of recognition. I don't know if it was from BAFTA or somewhere else. It's gotten some awards for the game design and simplicity of it. It's a really awesome game.
I feel like there's a ton of awards. I think I've seen a screenshot, where they put up the awards of everything, and it just like covers the page of what it's won. But it is also a very perfect game for Game Pass, because you just fire it up right away. You could probably even play it through the cloud streaming. I downloaded it because it was a quick download, but
I can't imagine it's more than like a couple hundred megabytes anyway.
Yeah. So it probably works smooth if you just want to cloud stream it and not even put it on your hard drive space. And then I also got into, it was a recent Game Pass release. I've been trying to get into it, but I keep playing it when I'm kind of late and I keep dozing off. But what's it called? Close to the Sun?
Is it a new game? Because I may have played a game called Race to the Stars, but anyway.
Yeah, this one is I think it's Close to the Sun.
Yeah.
And it's very, very new on Game Pass. I don't think it's new in terms of when it released. But within just the past week or so, I think it released there. And it's kind of like one of those walking adventures. Like, I don't think I ever get a weapon or anything like that. But it is also in the horror genre. And so far, there's been jump scares here and there.
Oh, I definitely haven't played this then.
And it is really interesting from what I've seen so far. You play as this woman whose sister has written you a letter, and it takes place in 1890s, late 1890s, during this kind of alternate history where Tesla and Edison are in a huge rivalry, like actually coming to blows and things like that. And Tesla has created this huge steamship. And when I say huge, I mean whatever you think is huge, think bigger. Like, you know, in The Spy Who Loved Me, which we watched for that podcast, the Hollywood Video
I did not
Guys.
watch that one.
Oh, you didn't see that one?
Yeah, I didn't watch that one. That was the one I didn't watch from that.
So in that, like, a giant oil tanker opens up and it swallows up submarines. And you're like, oh, that's a huge oil tanker. It's swallowing up a submarine. This is similar, but you're on a little, like, tugboat, and the thing looks like 8 pixels large compared to this massive ship that's opening up and swallowing you up. And when you dock, you're inside of this ship, but it looks like you're just on a regular city dock. There's fog in there. The thing is so huge, it has its own atmosphere in the docking bay. And you have to go in, and I haven't gotten too far because I keep dozing off while I'm walking around, trying to pick up the little notes and newspaper clippings and learn about where I'm at. Meanwhile, there's a jump scare every once in a while, like a door slams or something.
Yeah, just to make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, just to keep me awake.
Yeah.
But I think what it is going to eventually incorporate is some sort of time travel aspect, because, you know, Tesla was always into, like, futuristic sciences, especially if you've watched The Prestige and stuff like that. So there's something that goes wrong on this giant ship, which is supposed to be like this floating science lab for all of Tesla's experiments. And everybody from around the world that wants to just do science, they can sail on this ship, and they don't have to worry about governments of countries interfering. And something went wrong, because as soon as you get in there, there's this giant, like, quarantine thing painted on the wall, and nobody's around, and you're like, okay, what happened?
Oh, so it's one of those where it's like it folds. It's the type of movie and game I like, where as it answers more questions, it also raises more questions.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just need to set aside a time where I've recently slept, and then I get to
Recently slept.
and then I get to stay awake and really dig into it.
Yeah. I have to check that out, because I don't recall hearing about that game. I think the game I played was called, like, Race to the Sun, because it was like a PSN game I got on PS Plus, like, 3-4 years ago. So I would have remembered something like this, like a walking simulator, because I do enjoy those when they're fun.
Yeah.
And they have a story that can hook you. Like that one that we played, was it called Call of the Wild?
Call of the Sea.
Call of the Sea.
Yeah.
Right. It's like those type of games where it's puzzle driven and there's no real combat necessarily.
Yeah, I had to double check and see if this was by the same people, but it wasn't. But
Oh,
it looks very similar.
Those developers have a new game. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, yeah, it's I'll have to check that out, because I don't remember seeing that on Game Pass when I had it on there. So I'm curious how new it is. I don't recall ever hearing about that one.
No, it's definitely. I mean, it's still in the recent releases section. Yeah,
I see. So for me, I've been playing. I've been in Boomer Shooter Bliss. Is what I've been lately.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I got a game that it's another one like we were talking about Gravity Circuit last week, where I'd heard the game, throughout 2023. I just forgot about it with everything going on, and then I started seeing it on lists, and it was Turbo Overkill. It's this cyberpunk aesthetic, Duke Nukem-esque Doom shooter, where it's much like it's an AI that has of course taken over or become self-aware, and it's trying to take over the city,
as they do.
You're one guy who is an amputee, but he gets a chainsaw as a leg instead, kind of like was it Planet Terror? I think the Grindhouse movie, Planet Terror.
Yeah,
where she had she had a rifle leg. It was like a shotgun,
like an AR or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they one-upped it by having a chainsaw. And part of the gimmick in this game is that it's insanely fast paced. Like it's a Twitch shooter as fast as like Quake 3 Arena or those, like the old arena shooters from that time.
Oh, wow.
And you can slide in enemies with your chainsaw leg, which, it
Naturally.
destroys the lesser enemies. Yeah. And in addition to that, you can apply mods to your different, like your left leg, your right leg, like your body parts. So there's stuff like where when you slide chainsaw on somebody, like to recover health or armor, or maybe, there's a bigger explosion. And then all the weapons have secondary fire, and they're pretty inventive. Like your super shotgun, which is like the double barrel, that becomes like a grenade launcher. Your minigun turns into like a flamethrower. And this game is just 100 miles an hour all the time. It's got like this heavy like synthwave soundtrack. And it's everything I want in a boomer shooter, because it's just shoot everything. There's secrets. Cyberpunk. It's a really fantastic game. I don't know if it's going to come to console. I'm not sure if they've mentioned any plans for that yet. I imagine it has to, though, because it's just freaking amazing. It looks really good for what it's trying to do.
I'm always jealous when you show those and you're like, look at what's come out, and then it's like, but you gotta wait a year for a console.
It's like, check this out, you could play it at my house.
Same with you sent me the Fallout London.
The mod.
Yeah, the mod that's been by just regular people, and I was like, oh man, this looks amazing. Who knows if it's coming to console?
Yeah, and then I looked and like, yeah, no plans so far, but we won't stop anyone from actually, doing the work and putting in the lift to get it on console.
Yeah.
Which means that it's probably likely not going to come on console, because I'm sure it's probably difficult to develop mods, especially on that scale for console. But yeah, that's really all I've been playing lately. Is like I've been deep diving into that, and so it gets pretty freaking hard, of course. Like I was coasting through much of the game, and I got through like the last half of Act 1, and that's when it's like it really started to ramp up in difficulty, where all of a sudden there's like multiple enemies with rockets. There's like minions. There's people who explode when you shoot them.
Oh, that's always great.
Yeah, it's really fun though, because it's kind of like Serious Sam, Duke Nukem, Doom, all rolled up into one. It's even published by Apogee, who published Duke way back in the day, and they're all about boomer shooters now. Didn't
you recently also play Ion Fury?
I played that for the first time. I don't know. It was like a month ago.
Yeah,
and that's another one where I've always wanted to play it, and you played it before me because it was on Switch. I think you got on Switch, right?
Yeah.
And that one, it's like that's a really close parallel to Duke Nukem, though.
That is like the closest.
It is. I really love that one, but God, it's freaking hard.
Yeah,
like that one got hard pretty quickly too, because
that ramped up in the first level.
It did. Like and they're pretty long too. They're pretty lengthy levels, but it's a fantastic game. Like you're playing as a female like agent, and you're shooting down all these cultists. So it's a little bit of hexen in there too. And there's a second one coming out soon. I forget what that's called though. I think it's called, is it Aeon Fury or? I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I can't remember now. It was like Ion something else or something else Fury.
Something like that. Yeah. So
keeping in the theme.
Yeah. So I gotta finish this because I definitely want to play the second. But I'm all for boomer shooters, and it's funny because recently Steam put a tag recognizing boomer shooters, so that's now a genre.
Finally.
Yeah, which I think is great because as much as I enjoy any first person shooter, there's a certain itch that these boomer shooters scratch that you really can't. It just hits the nostalgia buttons. Plus, especially when they're modernized, like it just feels right when you play it. Like there's no BS. It's just shoot anything that moves, dig for secrets, probably some stupid storyline that makes no sense, but I don't care. It's like 30, 40 levels of fun,
Yep.
And oh geez, what was the other one playing? Bolt Gun.
Oh yeah.
I think you haven't played that one yet.
No,
though, right?
I almost got that one. That one I saw on sale over the holidays.
Yeah, it's Warhammer Bolt Gun, and that one is based on the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine franchise, or board game, I should say, tabletop. I always love the theme of Warhammer because, it's like these huge, like, mech-looking soldiers with the giant sword and the weapons. Bolt Gun is, again, that one's closer to Duke Nukem. It's really freaking good. Same thing, gets really hard, because I started out on hard because I was reading through, and then I didn't breeze through. So that's a good way to kind of lead into our main event here, Deucy.
Yeah.
So we'll get to talking about some tough and worse bosses soon enough. It's time for our main event, our main topic. Today we're covering our worst and toughest bosses. So we have to put sort of some guardrails or give some context for what makes up a terrible boss. And Deucy, what would you say are some of the hallmarks of what makes a game boss, a bad game boss?
There's, I mean, a wide variety. I think you described it a little pretty well when we were texting about it. And for me, it's like a boss that if it's in the middle of the game and you have to play it over and over and over again and just chops up the flow, I don't like that. That's like, what the heck are you doing to me? And other ones are, they're so tough. They could be the last boss, and then you end up never beating the game, which I think I have a couple on here for that. And then there's kind of, on a totally different track, there's bad, in air quotes, boss design, which we've already talked about in the past few weeks for like Donkey Kong Country 1 and 3. So all of that, I feel like, just falls under the same umbrella.
Yeah, I think that's really what it is for me as well, especially... I don't know, it depends on the game, but I tend to be I can be pretty damn critical about a lot of games, especially when, something that always irritates the hell out of me is when a boss kind of breaks the design of the game. Everything you've been taught up to this point, whether it's like a parry mechanic, how to use a weapon, or certain, rules in the game world that are suddenly broken for a boss for no reason. So there's probably gonna be a few examples here that we'll go through, but stuff like where, if you know how to perfect parry something, all of a sudden the boss can parry faster than you for no reason at all.
Yeah.
So you spend all this time in a boss or in a game learning how to parry perfectly, so you can nail those, frame perfect parries, counterattack. You got the whole flow. Then you get to a boss, and he's like, "Oh no, all that crap you learned doesn't matter here. I have super armor.
I'm gonna be invincible no matter what.
I'm gonna be invincible. Those parries can't be parried. You can't parry my attacks either. It's all just unblockables." And there's stuff like where the game or the boss might just be too difficult, and it's also something where, what you actually have as far as what your character abilities are won't even match up to that, right? So maybe your character's too slow, and the boss moves like 3 times as fast. A lot of those things make up terrible bosses for me because they can be showstoppers. There's times where I've quit games all the same. It's like I've gotten to a boss, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do at this point. I cannot go through. There's no cheap tactic. There's nothing I can do. Someone tell me how to break this game at this point.
Yeah, there's probably a few games on my shelf where I got all the way up. My save file is at the last boss itself, and then I've just never rolled credits on it because screw that guy.
And then you do it like 10 years later, like, oh god, finally it's over with. That burden's been lifted.
Or you go back into it and you're even rustier than when you got there.
That's usually the case. It's always more likely that like I'm gonna try it again. You're like, yeah, well, this is why I stopped playing.
Yeah,
except 20 hours ahead.
It's like back then I was good. Now I'm terrible and I'm facing this boss.
Yeah. So we don't have like a list format necessarily. We're just gonna be kind of rolling with the flow here and going with the flow and just seeing what makes sense. So we've put together some bosses from games that we think are pretty terrible, whether they're difficult, whether it's just garbage design, whether they're just an awful boss. Maybe they look awful. They don't fit with the game. This is just things we hate in gaming as far as bosses go. So, Deucy, go ahead and kick us off with a choice on yours.
So I'm going to start way back. I might go kind of in a chronological order from what I can think of. One I have that's a poorly executed or, bad. It wasn't hard at all. Was Metal Gear for NES. Because on the MSX, you got to fight a Metal Gear. It's in the title. You fought
Metal Gear.
You fought a giant robot. And in the NES, they were like, nah, we can't do that. So here's a giant computer screen. And you just blow that up.
Yeah.
And it's like, what were you thinking?
It's really weird because that game was it was made by a different developer that wasn't Konami. It's like a weird reimagining of the MSX Metal Gear, which is an infinitely better game. I haven't beaten it. I've played it a little bit, and like you could tell just in the first 10 minutes that it's better than the NES one we got.
Yeah.
And then the NES one, the cherry on top is this final boss. It's utter nonsense. I forgot what you had to do to destroy the boss. I don't know if you had to arm it or something, or you had to throw grenades, but
you have to. Do you have to lay mines near it, or throw a grenade near it or something? But it has to also be like near it for the explosion to take effect.
Yeah, and that game was very difficult to begin with because the collision detection is pretty bad, and it's also kind of an obtuse game to begin with where you don't really know where to go, and there's a lot of confusing things, and some items you don't know what they do to begin with.
Yeah.
You know? I would say it's a solid first choice to kick us off with worst boss.
Yeah, that was just whoa, guys.
Yeah, I'll keep mine in line with NES since that's top of mind, but I'm gonna go with the Joker from Batman.
Oh,
Only because that one's a little bit fresher in my mind because we covered that a few weeks back.
Yeah.
I guess it was a couple months ago. And this boss, like once I figured it out, it wasn't that bad to beat, but it's stupid that I had to figure out a way that didn't use Batman's abilities to beat the Joker. Right? So my perspective is that I'm Batman. I should be using bat gadgets or punching him or something to defeat the Joker. But you can't. The Joker moves so fast in this game. He has that giant long barrel gun that shoots projectile that's pretty fast. You can dodge it, but it's a pretty fast shot. And then he calls the 3 bolts of lightning from the sky, and he can run faster, back and forth on the screen. And you have to dodge all of this.
It's like the animated version of Joker, but in Jack Nicholson's body.
It really is, yeah. And Joker's, twice the size of Batman at least, maybe 2 or 3 times in terms of like pixel size.
Yeah.
So he's just dumb to fight. And then when you do fight him, like I figured out, and I think I talked about this in the episode, was how you can like stand at the edge of his gun and still punch him. You get like, a few punches in, step back, do the same thing. And then when he calls lightning, you're just in range to get out of it.
Does the lightning hit in the same spot every time?
It not in the same spot, but it's the same spacing no matter where he's at, right?
Okay.
So I know like in front of him, he's going to be so far from the first lightning bolt that I can stand in between it.
Yeah.
There's not really any skill in there because it's a lot of trial and error. And it's not like you can get better with your batarangs or your bat gun or whatever. It's like you're going to get destroyed no matter what. And I get because it's supposed to be the final boss, but it's kind of a dumb final boss.
Yeah.
Because I didn't beat it as a kid. He was really hard.
And I mean, it's the Joker. He's never been known for much of a fighting. Like, sure, he's in the Injustice games fighting or even Mortal Kombat, but I mean, if you get the drop on him, you should be able to beat him easier than this weird. Why does he have Thor's thunder power?
Yeah, it was just, it's a great example of those NES games where the bosses suddenly have like every magical power in the book for some reason, no reason at all. And like, well, it's a video game, whatever, just throw everything in there, just make it gamey. And that's kind of what it was. I love how he looks, right? That's really it. It's like they nailed Batman versus Joker, but fighting him is not fun.
The projectiles that you get, like the Batarang and that little triple shot thing, do they just not hit him, or do they not count for much off of his life meter?
I think it's both, because or you run out too, because that's the things. If you game over, then, or not game over, but when you do get game over and you restart the section, you lose. If you had 90 or 99 ammo, you go back to I think like 10 or 15 or whatever the default is.
Yeah.
So it's either you get him when you're stocked up and you know how to do it quickly and dodge and all that, or face the punching him, because punching still does the most damage. It's just you have to get close because Batman has stubby arms and he's much smaller than Joker. All right, Deucy, go ahead with your next selection.
Next one, staying in the NES universe. This, I don't know why, I just had a sudden flashback of this kind of last night when I was thinking of more to add to my list. It's the T-Rex in Jurassic Park on Nintendo.
That's funny. I almost put the T-Rex fight from Jurassic Park Genesis on mine, but it works better with the Nintendo one.
So this is only the second boss in the game.
Oh, I thought it was the final. Okay.
Nope. The first boss, quote unquote, is a Triceratops stampede, and you are Grant, and you have to find Tim, and you have to sort of guide Tim through the stampede. You're like running up the screen and they're coming down at you.
Oh, I remember seeing that in videos, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the boss fight.
So the second level, the boss fight is the T-Rex, and you have to save Lex from this. Although she does not follow along like Tim. Like once you touch her, she doesn't stick to you like glue. I guess the story is she gets scared or something. But you can't fight back against the T-Rex. You don't have anything to shoot it to like knock it backwards on the screen or anything like that. It just comes at you at a different level on the screen from left to right, and you have to be out of its way. It's going to just like suck you up like a vacuum.
Oh, wow.
And if it either gets you or Lex, you are dead. Like immediately loss of life, restart. And like I said, you don't control her. I mean, sort of, in theory, you're supposed to, but she doesn't always listen. So she's just kind of running around randomly, definitely getting eaten more than you are. Yeah. And yeah, I never passed that level.
It's pretty funny that, you know, everyone hates escort missions, and the NES had it, and we still haven't learned to not do escort missions in gaming. At least ones like that where you can't control them and you just get killed, because that on the Nintendo, that's like, you can't escort anyone.
Nope.
That's pretty great. I didn't know about that at all. That sounds terrible.
Yes.
I'll keep mine with NES as well. I'm going to go with Satan in Ghosts and Goblins.
Ha.
This game already is a bunch of insane nonsense as far as difficulty, and then you get to the last boss, and you have to use the shield, if I recall correctly, the shield weapon, which is not great. You know, especially when that's your only weapon you have to use to get to the end. I think it only drops like in one spot before that.
Like earlier in the level.
Early in the level. So you have to have the shield, then you defeat Satan, and then the game gives you the ultimate middle finger by saying, oops, that was really just an illusion. It was a dream. Go through the entire game all over again.
Yeah.
Nothing different. This hell you faced for the last God knows how many hours, do it all over again if you want the true ending. So I don't think I've ever gotten to Satan. I can't recall if I did as a kid. I definitely don't think I did as a kid. But I don't like, I mean, I guess back then that's how you would extend the replay value, right? It's like you make go through it twice. But the game's already difficult. Like, you're spending a lot of time to get through the game to begin with. Like, I don't think I've gotten through, I don't know, I can get through the first level, like, I don't know, reasonably okay. And then after that, it's just a scale of like less familiarity I have with the level, the easier it is for me to get killed, you know?
And other games have had like second quests, but they're usually optional.
Yeah.
Like, it really sucks when it's like the main thing to get the true ending.
Which is just a single screen, right? That's the other side of it is it's a Nintendo game, so the endings aren't going to be that rich. So you're going to go through it twice, and if you're lucky, you might be able to take a photo with your Polaroid and show your friends that you did go through twice, you know?
Yeah, you take a photo and send it into Nintendo Power, and you get on their little list of
that's right
power champions or whatever.
And hope you don't get any glare on there from the light reflecting.
Yeah, or your flash.
Yeah. All right, Deucy, go ahead with another selection of your worst or toughest / terrible bosses.
So we're also gonna stay not on the NES, but stay back in the past, and this time on the Game Boy, the handheld, Mega Man 3, Punk.
Punk. I don't think I've ever fought Punk in Mega Man 3.
So he is not a boss from the Nintendo games, because Mega Man, the Game Boy ones were always like 4 from one Mega Man, 4 from the next Mega Man in order. And this happened to be, I think Wily calls it like the Mega Man Killers or something like that. And he's just some sort of like, he was created specifically for Mega Man 3 for Game Boy. Never really seen again. I think they said he's referenced in like Battle Network, which is kind of cool.
It is interesting.
Not to him, but he looks awesome. He's got like, he's a robot with a mohawk, spiky mohawk. He's got giant shoulder pads with spikes on him.
It's very 90s and Legion of Doom right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he rolls up into a ball like Sonic, he's just a giant buzzsaw. And then he also throws buzzsaws, kind of like Metal Man. But for some reason, I could not beat him. He doesn't have a weakness. Like, his weakness is just the
Buster,
the Mega Buster.
Which means that it's going to be hard no matter what.
And you have to. He kind of moves like Metal Man, but it's not triggered by your movement. He's going to have his own pattern, and you have to like slide under him or slide under the blades that he throws, jump over them. You don't quite know which one is going to be which. He doesn't telegraph that, like if it's high or low. So you have to have a pretty quick reaction. And yeah, to this day, I just remember never beating him. I could beat Mega Man 2 fairly quickly on Game Boy. And then for him, his level is after you beat the bosses and before you start the Wily Castle.
I see.
So it's like, boom, right there, and I never got any further.
Yeah, I will keep my next selection to Mega Man as well, since I do have one selection from there. It's Wily Capsule from Mega Man 7.
I knew it. I knew that it was gonna be there.
So I didn't beat Mega Man 7 as a kid because I only rented it, and by the time Mega Man 7 had come out, I was already too much into Mega Man X. Like, going to Mega Man 7 from X, pretty rough for me to do because X just feels so much better. The bosses are so much better. I still like Mega Man 7, but X was my shit back then. So I finally beat it on the Mega Man collection, the Legacy collection, when it came out, however many years ago, 6-7 years ago. And I was going through each of the games, and I got to Mega Man 7's final boss, which is Wily Capsule. Dr. Wily's like in this, it's like a mini UFO thing. And this boss battle is probably the hardest Mega Man boss battle I've ever played in my life.
Especially the hardest Wily boss battle.
And easily the hardest Wily one, bar none. Like if any of the other ones I may have had trouble, like even the Yellow Devil in Mega Man 1, I think is easier than this.
Well, he's got that trick too.
That's true too. Even without the trick, I still could beat him, you know? But in this, like Wily moves around pretty quickly. He teleports. And the worst thing about this boss fight is that he also shoots these little energy orbs, and they all have these sort of randomized directions they go in, and they're not always clear because you might have two of them going at you at once. Sometimes they'll draw like a Z or an L or something. They are very hard to dodge, and you only have a slide in Mega Man 7. You don't have like a dash or anything like that I recall.
Yeah, no, it's basic Mega Man moves.
It's just Mega Man moves, yeah. So it took me, I mean, I beat it like in the same session I was beating him, right? Like I didn't stop and go, but it took me a freaking while, it felt like. I must have been there for like half an hour trying to figure out how to beat this, because also his weakness is like the springing weapons, which have a little bit of an arc. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so he's floating around the arena, and
if he goes too high, you can't really hit him.
You can't even hit him. Yeah. So there's that factor too, because if you get a bad pattern where he teleports too high or he swings up too high, you can't even hit him until he swings down, and you have to hope you hit him because the springs are an arc. So this boss was an easy one to put on the list. It's just one of the few Mega Man games bosses that I think is pretty freaking unfair.
I knew you were gonna put it on there, and I didn't put it on my list because I've never gotten to him actually in 7, and I've just seen a lot of the speed runs and everything get to him on YouTube, and I could tell even from these professionals who speed run it like nothing, that was challenging for them. They're like, this is definitely the run killer. Yeah, if I'm not careful.
It's almost like the time we're like, okay, I need silence. Like no cheering or anything because I got to focus on this. All right, Deucy, go ahead with your next boss.
Well, we're finally kicking up a generation, and I picked a duo. They go hand in hand, and I think these two are my biggest wall, but they represent a genre, and that's Kintaro and Shao Kahn.
Okay, I was gonna say, because again, these are really general picks. So I put on my list Mortal Kombat bosses until 4.
Yeah, like for me, these represent every late or final boss in any fighting game ever. But for some reason, like recently I played Mortal Kombat 1 for our episode, and I breezed through Goro and Shang Tsung, and I was like, what the hell happened with 2? Because I played 2 first back when we were younger, and I could get to Kintaro and he would hand me my ass. And then when I finally beat him through like cheesing methods, Shao Kahn I just never beat. Like, screw him.
So I yes, it's definitely Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, especially those two, because like you said, Mortal Kombat 1, you can cheese through it pretty easily, especially with Sub-Zero on both versions. I'm sure you could freeze him, uppercut, whatever. It's not that bad. And even with the other characters, it's possible. It's just difficult. But 2 and 3, they really felt like that they were meant to eat your cores at the arcade. But then we're playing this at home, so why the hell does it need to be this difficult and this cheap? Because and again, this is a great example for terrible bosses, because a lot of times it won't rely on your skill. Like if you know the character in and out, it doesn't matter because the AI literally reads your inputs and reacts to it. And then on top of that, you can find a cheap tactic with most characters, but why? That's so stupid to do that. Like if you make it a final boss, like make it feel like I should earn it instead of just like jump kicking or kind of coercing the jump at me. Like, it's just stupid at that point.
Yeah, there was a whole little mini documentary about how cheap and cheating Mortal Kombat 2 is based on how the AI works.
Yeah, it's by Modern Vintage Gamer. He released it a few years ago, and he details, down to the code level, how this thing was reading your inputs and reacting to it. So this was another easy choice for me to add because it's just a total BS boss fight. There's nothing fun about it. I didn't feel satisfied when I got the ending. I was just like, God, how annoying was that?
And I'm not doing it over and over for all the character endings.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah, which, back in the day was rough. It's not like you had the internet to go look up on YouTube and see character endings. It was just, you might hope that a magazine might publish it, or maybe your friends would share it with you. Who knows?
And the rough thing is, back in those days, if you put it on like easy or very easy and you did happen to beat these bosses, then it'd be like, try it on a harder difficulty.
Some would do that, which is like the ultimate kick to the nuts at the end. Yeah. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna put a whole game on mine. I'm gonna go back
just
a little bit.
Just a big old nope.
Yeah, just a big old nope because this game's bosses are just as ridiculous as the game itself, and that's Silver Surfer on the Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
A game that has incredible music. It's actually pretty fun, but everything about this game is meant to just ruin and break your spirit because the walls kill you. There's like a billion different things. It's a shoot 'em up, by the way. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up and also some vertical shoot 'em ups. And neither is easier than the other. Because the side-scrolling ones, you have a billion things being shot at you, being thrown from the background, the foreground. Again, walls can kill you. Luckily, Silver Surfer's kind of small, so you have some movement in there. And it's a button masher, so it's like you can stop firing. Like you have to be shooting the entire time. There's no reason to not shoot.
Ouch.
And then the vertical levels are Silver Surfer's like twice the size, so he's like, I don't know, I'll say quarter of the screen. And it's like playing Operation, like the old board game Operation.
Because the walls still
hit you. So no matter what you do, you're dead. And if you do manage to get to a boss, it doesn't matter. It's just all of them cranked up to all the bad stuff cranked up to 11. There's like a billion projectiles on the screen. Like if you fight, it was Morbius, I think it was. He's just throwing all the crap at you. He's like a giant head. And it's just, there's nothing. I want to enjoy this game so much because the character's so cool, the music's so good, and they made it just unbearably difficult just for no reason. Just to, I don't know if it's for length, replay value, or combating renting, or whatever it was. Yeah, this is too much.
It wasn't even in the arcades, was it?
No, it was purely an SNES, or excuse me, an NES game.
And it had to have been before the rental wave where they said, hey, make these difficult on purpose for rentals.
I'm not sure what year it was, but it totally could have been. It's just baffling that they would make it this difficult. And I put the whole game on there because it's like if you get to the bosses, good for you. Yeah. Because you won't last long much after that.
I didn't even know there were bosses.
Yeah.
I've never seen one.
And there's only like 4 levels. That's the other thing. I think there's 4 levels, and I don't know if there's how many there are after that. But Jesus, like it's impossible to get through them. Like you have to be really committed. I've seen a run through of someone doing it. The Angry Video Game Nerd, his friend Bootsy did it, and he's just giving you tips as he's talking about it. But he's just like with one finger mashing B the whole time he's talking because he's like, you can't stop shooting. You got to pick up these pickups. It's really fun to watch because it's impressive.
Can't stop shooting.
Yeah, but it's also just it perfectly encapsulates how stupid this game is, and you want to love it. Again, you want to love it. It's just trying really hard to make you not love it. Okay, Deucy, what's your next selection?
Let me see what do I have kind of next on the timeline. I can move back into handheld. Similar to Super Nintendo, it's the Game Boy Advance, and it is Ridley from Metroid Fusion.
Oh, you hated this one.
Yes.
Wow.
For the longest time, it stopped me in my tracks. Like, I had already had some issues with the SAX, the fake Samus, because she's super powerful and all you have to do is run. You can't really defend yourself. But I got to Ridley, who's really close to the end. There's only like maybe a boss and a half after him. And you'd think being that late in the game, you're pretty powered up. And I had a ton of E-tanks and ton of missiles. Probably more than what you normally get on a Metroid game.
That's what I was going to say. Is this boss was hard to me regardless, and I remember beating it. But I also understood that I was probably well underpowered.
Yeah, and I feel like I was at the correct power. I don't think I was overpowered, clearly, because then I go in there and he's just a bullet sponge.
Yeah, he takes a lot of missiles. If I recall, it's like 90 something. I can't remember the actual count, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it is more than I had, or maybe I didn't even get to that point because he hits like a truck too. So even if you have a ton of,
and he's a huge sprite on the screen.
Yeah. He's like half the screen on the far side, or a third maybe. And he'll just knock out a bunch of energy tanks right away. And I just, for the life of me, if he had a pattern, I couldn't see it. I would just tank hits and then try to shoot back faster. Mm-hmm. And I think it was, when did I put it down when I first originally had it. I stopped playing it and I never beat it. I ended up getting Metroid Zero Mission. That was a lot easier. I liked that one. I finished that one. And then years and years later, I must have fired it up again, maybe when I had a DS and it could play, backwards compatibility games. And I think I finally beat him, but not from that save file. I had to restart and I had to try it all over again just to get my get the rust off.
Did I beat Fusion before you did on your cards?
Oh, for sure.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you borrowed it and you were like, "Oh, he was okay. He was a little difficult."
I remember that.
And I was like,
you'd finished it.
What the hell?
Yeah, because I remember you got the cart back and you're like, "What do you like?" I don't know how many tanks I had. You're like, you beat the game with that many tanks?
Yeah,
like, yeah. Like,
I'm still at Ridley.
Yeah. I expected. I thought you might put a Metroid boss on there, but to be honest, I thought you were going to put Ravenbeak from Dread.
Oh yeah. So I thought about that, but I mean, my feelings about the Emmys in that game, but I didn't put anything from that game because I understand that they're really well done. I just have a huge issue with trying to discover their patterns.
Yeah.
And I also haven't played it enough. Like, if I played it more, I probably could recognize the patterns, except for that last boss. Screw him.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is I've already professed my deep love for Dread.
Yeah.
And I love that last boss, Ravenbeak, because he does test everything you learn through the game. It's really hard, but all the patterns you can recognize the tells, which is why I personally love that boss. It just makes me feel great that like I know the controls well enough to where it's like, all right, he's doing this charge thing, he's doing this, he's gonna do his beams thing, he's gonna throw this out. It's like I can recognize all that, and I'm sure if I got to a point, I doubt I could soon or anything like that. I have to put a lot of time. I might be able to beat him without getting hit. It's just hard to do, but it's possible, totally possible.
And I didn't want to put any of those on there also because like when you do well in the fight and you like stun the boss and then you do a little cinematic, she grabs on and she starts shooting. I like that part.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I like that evolution of the Metroid genre in these boss fights. I just can't get the patterns down.
Yeah. All right, so the next I'm gonna put a couple because these are kind of they're from the same series but different games at around the same time. I'm going to include Terminator 2, the arcade game, as my first selection here, and then Terminator 2, which is like based on the movie. It's not the arcade one. The Terminator 2, the arcade game, is the iconic light gun shooter that has probably one of the most recognizable arcade cabinets in history.
Oh yeah.
It's the big giant cabinet, Arlo on the motorcycle, the Terminator on the motorcycle with on the side panels, two Uzis, pointing at the screen.
Yeah.
So I was really excited when this came out for Super Nintendo and Genesis, and the first version I rented was the Genesis version. And I was really excited. I was a huge fan of the movie. I was like, 70 years old. I shouldn't be watching Terminator to begin with, but this is what it was. And I got to the first boss, which is like this giant tank hunter killer. And oh my God, this thing, the shots it took, I don't know how long it actually was, but it felt like I was sitting there for like 15, 20 minutes unloading, rounds in this stupid tank because I couldn't tell if I was really hitting it, if I was hitting the weak spot. You didn't get real feedback like maybe the burst would tell you. But I remember like shooting everyone. I was like, I don't know how to kill this thing. Like I'm shooting its face, I'm shooting the treads, and then the whole game's like that. It's a quarter muncher, and it's like the worst kind of light gun game where everything is just overpowering. There's a billion enemies on the screen, and the bosses are just sponges. They take up so many shots, so many quarters. And again, I understand it from the business side as an arcade, but at home, there's no reason to penalize me. I just want to watch Terminator 2 the arcade game.
Yeah, like why haven't we dialed back the difficulty?
Yeah. And then by proxy, Terminator 2, this is a game based on the movie, so this follows the events of the movie a little bit more closely. And all versions of this game are terrible. The one specifically I'm calling out is the Nintendo version. I used to play the hell out of this at Vito's house because he owned it, our friend Vito.
Yeah.
And the first boss is like this big biker guy, and back then, he was the same thing. He just took a billion hits. Like you're just mashing B over and over and over for like minutes trying to kill him. And also he just has like, I think it's one move, maybe two, but the one move he has is like he just kicks you like it's like a big boot to the face. Because the Terminator's Arnold. He should be the biggest, beefiest person on here.
This should be like a Superman game where you're invincible.
Exactly. And instead I got this big biker guy who looks like the Undertaker in a blue suit, who's like 2 feet taller than the Terminator is, and just tanking right through him. And I found out later on, because I own the Game Gear version, that you can just crouch in front of him and stand like right under him, like basically right under his legs, and just mash the punch and he dies. And that's the dumbest boss fight I could possibly imagine. And most underwhelming thing, because the game is, again, already difficult. And then what's worse is after you beat that, you go on this, you're on the motorcycle and you're like flying through this, like the LA waterway channels. Mm-hmm. And that's another game where it's like, blink and you miss it because you'll die. Or another level, I should say. Because you have to shoot open. So you have the T-1000s chasing you and the semi behind you. So you have to shoot that to, like, keep him subdued and back. And you have to shoot forward at these windows to open, or these doorways to open them up. If you're like a second too late, you smash in the door and that's it, game over.
Oh, wow.
So
it's like the, was it the bike chase in Battletoads? Like
that? Similar to that, but this is worse because it's at an isometric angle. So it's like 3/4 angle up. It's not even it's not even side scrolling.
I have seen screenshots of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember Vito and I would be sitting there getting that level. It's like, it was impossible. It's so stupid. And it's the same thing where you love Terminator and you want to love the game, and it's just an awful game. And then the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions are even worse than the Nintendo ones because they look a little bit better, kind of, but they're also ugly as hell, and they're even clunkier in control. Like they control worse than the Nintendo one.
I recently got the T2 Game Boy game from one of our outings.
I remember that, yeah.
And I played it, and the first level is, I think you're in the future. You're trying to get the time machine working to go back. Mm. And you're supposed to hit these towers in a certain order that they don't tell you about. And you can get all the way to the end of the level and go, oh, you didn't hit the towers in the right order. Ha. And then you're like screwed.
Oh, because is it like an auto-scrolling like Legend game? I can't remember. No,
it's not auto-scrolling. You get to move. In fact, you can go back and try to hit those towers.
Oh, okay.
But like, I think there's a certain order. Like you don't just hit them from left to right.
That's
as
so
you're moving
stupid.
along. There's like, you have to go to the second one, then you go to the fourth one, then you go back to the first one. Then you're like, they don't tell you. Mm-hmm. It's just very much trial and error. And yeah, I was like, okay, I'm never getting past this level.
Yeah, those. I mean, I would guess those type of games are probably under a lot of stress, like other games are, where it's like they're only on limited time. They're doing what they can with the time they have in the budget. Because that, Terminator 2 was on basically everything back then. Like there was a Game Boy version, like you said, Game Gear, Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Like it was on a lot of platforms. So I imagine still be, even with different developers, like there's only so much time they have. It was just terrible. So
yeah, especially if they all kind of released around the same time.
I believe they had to have.
Yeah.
All right, Deucy, the next terrible boss fight on your list.
This one is the first one I thought of when we started talking about this list, and it's actually back a little bit. It's on the PlayStation 1, and when I was researching it, I could have sworn it was from the first game, but it's actually from the sequel. In Siphon Filter 2, the last boss, his name is Jason Chance. He's a fellow agent who like betrays the company, and you have to chase him down. Cool concept where to defeat him, you have to knock him into the back rotor blade of a helicopter. Mm-hmm. Poor execution. He has an auto shotgun, and when I say auto, it fires like an AR rifle, but shotgun shells. And if you want to push him back into the thing, you don't have a gun really that fires fast enough. You have to get another auto shotgun on the little map. It's in a crate. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to spam the shots and make sure that you're angled in a way that will push his body back into the rotor blade. If you are too far one way, you might end up shooting the helicopter and damaging that and blowing it up, and then it's a failure. Or you might not be hitting him in the right direction, and then you've just like wasted ammo.
I kind of remember you being upset about this way back.
Yeah.
Because I remember Siphon Filter 2 being especially difficult.
And this is, like I said, the last boss. You're like, wow, I made it all the way here. And also he has body armor, so he's invincible to every shot. You can't just whittle down a life bar. This has to be the rotor blade.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think I finally did it. I remember beating that game, but I was just frustrated beyond hell because it was the last one, and I was like, am I going to do this, or am I going to just put it on the shelf?
Yeah, I didn't get to the end of Siphon Filter 2 because I borrowed yours, and I don't think I got near the end because it was pretty damn hard. And Siphon Filter 3, I'm not even sure if I played that. I'm not even sure if I have that one actually either.
I got it recently. I'd never played it. I'd forgotten that it even came out on PlayStation. I think it was like...
It was one of the later ones, I think.
Way at the end of the life.
Yeah. So I guess I'll keep mine kind of PS1-ish. I'm gonna kind of lump these together as well. But I'm going to start with Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Cyber Akuma. He's the final boss. He's controlled by Apocalypse in the story of this game, so to speak. And then I'm also going to lump Onslaught from Marvel's Capcom 1. And then also, this is a concept that's been created because of a specific game company and bosses. It's called SNK Boss Syndrome. And I'm going to lump Geese Howard from, I think it's King of Fighters 96. What all these bosses have in common is that they're absolutely cheap. They have, whether it's invincible moves, high damage. In the case of Onslaught, like he takes up literally like 80% of the screen because he's like, I think he's Apocalypse and Magneto as one or something, right?
Can I lump in with this Sigma Ultron or Ultron Sigma from
Infinite?
Yeah.
See, I didn't think that boss was that hard.
Oh my god, I could not scratch that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember beating him because it's part of the story mode, I think, in Marvel's Capcom Infinite. And I forgot what team I had, but he was stupid. Like he wasn't a fair boss fight at all.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he was that bad. But yeah, we could lump it in because it's the same idea. It's just a cheap fighting game boss that is just, it looks cool and it's a spectacle, but it's not fun to fight.
No.
Like everything, again, this is quarter munching at its peak here, where it's like you might have gone through the first 7 or 8 battles and you got your combo team that you love so much, and you get to Cyber Akuma, Onslaught, or any final boss, especially from the Versus era games, and they're just made to absolutely destroy you in a few hits. Or with, the worst is like when they have, like Onslaught has like this super that I think it's a super where his beam takes up like, again, 90% of the screen and you're blocking, taking chip damage. So there's also instances where you don't have much strategy. You can block, but you're going to be chipped to death or something. Like it's just, there's no easy way to get out of this. Like even if you try to, bull rush them and try to rush them down, hope that you have some strategy in mind that makes sense because anything else will get you nowhere.
I'd also throw in, I don't remember if he paired up with anybody, but I think it was Galactus in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
I think it was just him, if I recall correctly. It's been a while, but it might have just been him.
And something happened between the original release and then the Ultimate version. He got like cranked up or something because I could beat him when it first released, and then I played the Ultimate version, and I was like, nope, not getting anywhere close.
Yeah, I forgot what they had done, because also Ultimate had the, I think it was like the Heralds mode, where it was like that card-based game, which is really freaking cool. But yeah, I do remember seeing things online back then, saying like, why is Galactus harder in this version? Yeah. Noticeably harder. So I guess in general, it kind of goes with like the Shao Kahn boss fights, but this is like Capcom's and SNK's kind of egregiary in the boss fight
answer to
space.
it.
Yeah, it's really terrible. Okay, Deucy, go ahead with your next boss fights.
So this one starts out in the era that we're in, the PlayStation era, but I didn't play him until very recently on the remaster, and it is Gulp from Spyro 2.
Oh, I didn't get to Gulp. I don't remember Gulp.
And so I've never played Spyro 2. I've only beaten the first one. And I wanted to replay the remaster one and then go into 2. 2 is my wife's favorite of all the Spyros, so she's been playing that. And normally when she's playing a game, like I'm the one getting frustrated at some game that I'm playing. She like breezed through Pokemon Violet, and never a peep out of her until all of a sudden she was playing the Spyro remasters, and she got to Gulp, and she sounded like me. I was like, oh, you are a true gamer. Okay.
Oh my God.
She goes, here, you try him. And I'm like, I've never played Spyro 2. She's like, it's basically the same. You got your charge, you got your flame. Just try it. And he is annoying. And we couldn't figure out, like, she had played it originally on the PlayStation 1 version. And she thinks that there's like something with the way the sticks worked back then on those controllers, when you had to control the camera and control Spyro, where now you're playing Switch with little sticks or something. And it's just a pain in the ass because he has, every shot of his is homing. He jumps around and his jumps are homing. You have to wait for him to knock a weapon into the arena that you can pick up and then shoot at him. But he can also grab that same weapon and shoot it at you.
Oh, so you're kind of sprinting for it almost.
Health. If there's like a health thing that Sparks can eat, he can also eat it and get his health back. And he's huge, so when he's rolling at you and chasing you, you're trying to run away and the camera isn't always cooperating, and all of a sudden you're like up against the edge of the arena and you don't realize it, and then he's on top of you like immediately. And I was getting frustrated with it. I mean, like I said, this is the first time I've ever played Spyro 2, and I'm thrown into a tough boss. So I hand it back to her and I look it up online. I'm like, there's got to be a way. And then just topic after topic is like, why is Gulp so hard? Why is Gulp the worst boss in the series? Why is this? Why is that? I'm like,
the consensus is there.
I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
you threw me into the deep end on this one.
I have to check that out because 2 is the one that I didn't play much at all. Because I love Spyro 1. I really love Spyro 3, Enter the Dragon. That's like one of my favorite PS1 games. But 2 is like the one I didn't get right away. I got it way later, like after 3.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know there was a terrible boss fight tucked in there.
I didn't either.
Yeah. For my next one, I'm going to go a little bit into the future here. It's one from, I think this game came out 2016, 2015. Deadpool for PS4 and Xbox. So this game really digs its heels in the whole, I'm funny, satirical, I'm breaking the fourth wall thing. So we're going to have shitty game mechanics that we're going to use the excuse of, oh, it's Deadpool, so it's so funny. So this game could be janky because of that.
Yeah.
So I dealt with most of the game just fine. It was, it was really just mediocre, not a bad game. It was just kind of boring. And then I got to the last level. And if I wasn't at the last level, I probably would have dropped this game a long time ago. Because the last level is the worst gauntlet endurance you can imagine, where it's just, this game's janky. You only have so much ammo. And the enemies are damage sponges in most instances. They're throwing out every enemy that is in the game pretty much. I think there's some areas that infinitely spawn enemies. I can't fully remember because I beat it like 7 years ago. And they cap it off. You're fighting Mr. Sinister as the final boss.
Oh.
And he has, multiple attacks where, he does a ton of damage. He splits into, I think, like 2 or 3 Mr. Sinisters. So, of course, there's that whole angle of, finding out which is the real one to damage him. And it's just not fun. Like, Deadpool should be one of the most awesome characters you can play as. And I think games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance do an amazing job with it. Marvel's Capcom 3, granted it's a fighting game.
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly captured Deadpool. Marvel's Midnight Suns, it's a tactics game, perfectly captured Deadpool. Deadpool's own game could not come close to capturing Deadpool. The jokes were there and everything, right? But it's just like they just thought that like, oh, well, we can be funny because the game's kind of garbage. And it's like, no, this isn't funny at all at this point.
They need to do one now with Ryan Reynolds actually in the part, and maybe he'll have a little say on like how it's built up too.
Yeah, and they got that's true. They should have him because they got who's the North?
Nolan North.
Nolan North, yeah. He's the voice of Deadpool in this, so it's like
that's not too bad.
Yeah, so it's like the jokes can be funny.
Yeah,
it's just dumb when the game tries to make an excuse for poor mechanics with the fact that it's a Deadpool game. It's supposed to be ironic. It's like no, a lot of this is jank and just dumb, and it's like that's one of the few games I ended up trading in. And it's one of those games that was easily one of the most disappointing because I love the Deadpool movies, and I play the games like, God, what the hell did they do here?
I think Nolan North is Nathan Drake, isn't he?
He is. That's the example I was trying to get to is Nathan Drake. I mentioned Uncharted, yeah. But he's like in everything now. Yeah. Or at least was for a few years. Yeah. Okay, Deuce, you go with your next boss.
Let's see. Oh, kind of in the genre of slashing around with swords and quick movement. This is from Xbox, the original Xbox. I always want to call it Xbox One, but that's...
I know. Thanks, Microsoft.
Yeah. Original Xbox, the Ninja Gaiden reboot.
Oh.
The very first boss.
Oh, that one hurts me.
Oh, my God. I almost did not play this
series. I remember when you got to that boss, because I'm pretty sure I was the one who hyped you up on getting the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I had seen you play it, or I might have played a little bit of it at your house.
That's possible too.
But I feel like you were already past this boss.
I was.
Yeah.
And he took a while for me.
And so when I got it and I got to him, I was like, what in the hell is this? There's not even like a difficulty slider.
There isn't.
Why is he kicking my ass over and over and over again? And then immediately, like when I finally beat him after days, the second boss was easy. And then from the rest of I beat that game. But the first boss, why in the hell?
He was easily, I would say he probably is the most difficult boss I can remember there, because also the other side of this too is he's the first boss, so you're already unfamiliar with the game.
And he's not teaching you anything.
No,
you're not learning a move.
You're not learning much. And also, what I should point out too is that this is before Ninja Gaiden Black. Ninja Gaiden is like one of the earliest games I can remember that had DLC, as we know it now, because they released the Hurricane packs, which had a parry mechanic, which made they added a parry, which was still difficult to do, but it made that first boss fight a little bit easier. Jesus. But at the same time, you also had more attacks, if I remember. But Ninja Gaiden Black is just. It's this game tuned up even more difficult than what it was. But anyway, the first boss in Ninja Gaiden was freaking hard. Mm-hmm. And my buddy Brandon at the time was the same way. Like, he's like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why they would make this difficult.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Like, I love the game, but I think that first boss is just way too hard. I think a lot of people would just quit there.
Yeah. I mean, I almost did. And I was like, why does everybody think this is like a top game of the year?
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like he was meant to be one of those bosses that you don't beat, where
it sure seemed that way.
Where you're supposed to get your ass handed to you, and then you build up, and maybe you meet him later in the game.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. He's got this long bow staff, which means he has a lot of reach.
And nunchucks.
And nunchucks. Or maybe you have the bow staff. I'm sorry. So he has the nunchucks. So he already has a lot of reach with his spinning attacks and everything.
Yeah.
He can bulldoze you in a lot of instances. He has invincible attacks. So you have to do a lot of dodging and keep an eye for a lot of openings, which are not that easy to spot because this game is pretty fast paced.
And you can't really do your most basic 3-hit combo.
Exactly. And you only have so many moves at this point too. Like, you have the flying swallow, which helped a lot, that move where you jump and he slashes forward at the guy it's like a dash slash. But that's not effective here because he could also kind of block that. So I think I would agree with you. Like, I love this game, but that first boss fight is a little too ridiculous for a first level boss.
I even played it again recently because they're all on Game Pass. Mm-hmm. And I think I barely got by him. It took me a lot fewer tries than back in the day, but still more tries than it should have.
Yeah. They haven't tuned it. I mean, they remastered the game, or that's like the remastered version, but I don't think they lessened his difficulty. If anything, they probably made it more difficult because it's Team Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah. On my list, I'm going to go back to the past a little bit. I'm going to go with The Incredible Hulk for the Game Gear, Super Nintendo, and Genesis, and one boss specifically, The Abomination. At this time, there was a lot of comic games out. There's a few that I'll probably mention later if we get to them here. But Incredible Hulk was, was one of my brother's favorite comic book heroes at the time. Mm. This game looked great. It had an awesome cover. It was just overly difficult. Like, just in general, to get through some of the levels, like you're the Hulk, for God's sakes, the Incredible Hulk. And these stupid drone enemies are giving you some trouble. And if you get too much trouble, you're turned into Bruce Banner, who's pretty much defenseless. Like, he has a machine gun or something. And even then, you're just off to get these gamma pills to turn yourself back into the Hulk.
Why wouldn't you just get angry again?
I don't know, because they wanted to make it difficult to make kids suffer for an Incredible Hulk, I guess. But the one boss I'm going to call it specifically is the Abomination. I think it's the third or fourth level boss. I can't recall where it is. And the version I remember doing this on was the Game Gear version. And this boss, I got to him, and I don't know how to beat him at all because I was doing uppercut punches. I was punching him. I remember as a kid specifically, he has this charge move that the Abomination does where he charges at the Hulk. And I remember timing my punch to punch him so he would just stun and get kicked back and do the dash over and over. Wouldn't die. So I don't know what I was doing wrong, but, assume it's the Hulk and Abomination. We should just be duking it out and I should kill him soon enough. But it never happens. So this is a game where you're supposed to be this, insane superhero with immense strength. Nothing can stop you. And even the littlest enemies make you feel like you're insignificant, and then the boss fights are just stupidly difficult. They make no freaking sense at all.
Did you ever look up later what you were doing wrong?
I probably did, and I think I might have seen a GDQ run where they just beat it normally, whatever. Yeah. But I don't know what it was. I was playing it on my game. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm pretty sure I called my brother. I was like, hey, look at this.
Yeah,
have you beaten this? Because I don't know what we're doing wrong here. It's nonsense.
I'll keep it on the original Xbox. This is going to be another one under the category of just poorly designed. It wasn't tough or anything. It also wasn't a one specific boss. It's the Flood from Halo.
Oh, just in general, the Flood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never like that point in any Halo game when the Flood gets introduced. And especially in the first game because after that, everything feels very repetitive and samey.
I completely agree. Yeah. The flood changes the game, and I think it's interesting because I think there's been conversations about how it changes the game. You know, like some people appreciate because it like kind of evolves the game. I'm like, I don't think I am that fond of it.
Yeah. The whole thing, I remember when Halo was first coming out, and I didn't have an Xbox, they were talking about how the enemies were so advanced. And it's true when it comes to like the Covenant alien lizards.
The elite and grunts.
Yeah, they definitely go behind cover, and you can hear them calling out tactics and everything. But then the flood comes along, and it just becomes like your typical shooter. Just shoot everything that moves.
Yeah, because you have the little ones that explode when they pop when they explode, and they could do like a chain reaction. Then you have the guys who are like full on like barrels basically on legs. Like if you shoot them, they explode
Into little ones.
into little ones. So it's I wouldn't say hate it, but I could totally see it being something that, you know, it's like totally antithetical to like what Halo was, right? Or what the game was up to that point.
Yeah.
Where it's like they introduce these new enemy types, and it's like they really stick out of left field, and they're almost not terribly fun to fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so on my list, I'm gonna go with we're gonna stick to Genesis. I'm gonna go with the original X-Men game, Apocalypse.
Oh yeah.
So this, have you gotten to this? I know you have. You played this game much?
I didn't get far. I think I got like through the first level.
Okay, so this is another game that I have a lot of fond memories for. The cover is by far one of my favorite Genesis covers ever. One of my favorite box arts ever, I should say as well. This game is insanely difficult. You play as each who is in here. There was Gambit, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. Those are the 4 playable characters, and you had appearances by like Iceman. Storm, they're like summons. I forgot who else. Archangel was in here. So you play as those 4 characters, and each of your abilities has a limited meter. So even Wolverine does, which as a kid I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. If you have Wolverine's claws out, his health, or like your blue meter runs out. So you run out of mutant power. So if you run out, well, guess you're out of luck. You're Wolverine just punching things with your fists. And then he does have like a little bit of health regeneration, but it's too slow for it to matter.
Yeah.
And then same with Cyclops. Uses optic beams. You know, you run out of mutant power, you're done. Same with Gambit. You know, you run out of mutant power, can't use his cards.
That's why I always liked the Super Nintendo game better.
Way better. And X-Men 2 Clone Wars did it a lot better too on the Genesis. But this one, it's already a difficult game, and there's only a handful of boss fights that I recall. Like there was Sabretooth, who wasn't that bad. There's Apocalypse. There's Mojin. I think there's like smaller bosses throughout the game. But Apocalypse does a ton of damage. He's invincible for a lot of his attacks, and the only character I can remember beating him with was Nightcrawler, because you could kind of teleport through him that would do damage as well, and he would become Nightcrawler would become invincible. But if you're any other character, I really couldn't figure out how to beat him because he has a ton of health, and it's like even if you crouch punch him or try to dodge, which you don't have much mobility in this game, it just wasn't fun to play. And to be honest, I've never gotten through this game from, you know, the first level to like level 8 or 9, wherever it is. I've used the level select code every single time because I couldn't see a lot of the game. Like there's a level, I think it takes place in the future where there's sentinels. I really want to check that level out. Had to do level select. And then I'll throw this boss in there as well because it's part of it. But with Mojo on the last boss, when you beat him, we talked about this in DK64 thing. It was you have to reset the console to get the true ending. And you have to soft reset it. If you hit reset too hard, like if you hold it too long, it resets the whole game and you won't get the ending that you fought so hard to get.
That would be me every time.
Yeah, so I really love that idea. I think it's a pretty brilliant idea for the time. To kind of break that fourth wall and give you like, hey, restart. Like Professor X comes and says, you have to reboot the system to whatever. Yeah. And then you do it. But one, it's not exactly intuitive to know that. As a kid, I sure as hell didn't know that until I read it in like a magazine. And two, you're treading on some water there where it's like not everyone able to do it.
Yeah.
Like if you hit the button, that's it.
Once you get into the later generations of system too.
Yeah. And I guess that's sort of like the consequence of, you know, maybe you didn't reboot it in time, but it's like, no, like it's just kind of dumb. I love the idea, but it's not the best thing to kind of do, especially when there's so much at risk.
If that game ever gets ported into a collection or anything, how do they then do that?
Well, I imagine maybe the emulator, like maybe we'll have an option because that's the only way you could do it. Like, there's no other way, as far as I know. You know? Okay, Deucy, go with your next boss.
For this next one, it's kind of out of left field, totally different genre from everything we've been talking about. But it is in part of my favorite series of games ever. It's Guitar Hero 3: The Devil.
Oh yes, that's a good one to put on there.
Yeah. I did not like the boss fights in Guitar Hero 3.
I thought, again, interesting idea, very poor execution. They were not fun.
Yeah, and I could get all of the other ones going up through the game, but him I never beat.
Yeah, because he's got like this crazy Devil Went Down to Georgia, but it's like speed metal.
Yeah, and during boss fights in all of them, you got these little power-ups. So instead of hitting star power, you had to hit the star power sequence that gave you a weapon. But I want to say they were kind of random. So on some runs, like, you might get a weak weapon to face him with. And obviously, these weapons were to throw off humans. How is a computer going to care about like double notes or anything like that? He's still going to just hit everything.
Yeah, I remember that took me a while, and I was pretty damn good at Guitar Hero. And when I got to that, I was like, this is just kind of dumb. Like, there's nothing fun about this, and there's nothing really satisfying about it. Like, it's a cool idea that I think you're basically fighting the devil or Satan or something, right? Or something like that. And it's like, cool, but I'm kind of over this at this point. I just want to finish this freaking game, you know?
And I was like, whatever, I can still play this song on like multiplayer and stuff like that.
That's true.
And the, what did they call it? It was just the regular rock mode. It wasn't even the story mode.
And I think it's called like Rock Out or something.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I've already unlocked it. I didn't have to beat him to get it, and I don't care if I beat him.
Yeah. All right, next on my list, as we're kind of winding down, I think I've gone through most of my list. I'm going to mention any enemy boss type in Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. This was the multiplayer shooter that came out on PS3 and 360. It's not like Resident Evil Outbreak. This was definitely more of like a horde shooter, which sounded kind of cool. But it's cool until every enemy is a bullet sponge. The basic zombies take a ton of bullets to kill, and then I remember specifically because this is where I basically turned the game off after this one. Like, I rented it from GameFly at the time. I was like, all right, this is stupid. But you fight Nemesis, and I was Jill or someone. I forgot. No, you play as like, there's 4 different classes in the game. And I forgot who I was playing as. And I was up on a catwalk well above Nemesis because I couldn't fight him head on. Like, you know, you only have limited health, and it's really difficult solo. That's also what makes it worse. And you also have limited ammo. So I was camping in this catwalk next to like an ammo box, like an infinite ammo box, and like shooting Nemesis' head from like the crack between like the railing. And I was like, this is the dumbest crap imaginable because he eats so many bullets. I went through, I don't know how many freaking clips with the infinite ammo there to kill him. And every boss is like that. I don't remember who else I fought in there, but every single encounter I had in that game was just not fun. There was nothing sensible about it. Everything it was like the Division 1 for me, where like everything was just a tank. Like, I'd be shooting for an hour and a half, and it's just, this isn't fun at this point. Like, it's just like, don't give him more health. Like, make some other element of the game or the boss fight where it's like interesting, like whether he gets a new attack or it's like you do a new phase. But it's like, for me, just to stand there and pelt you with bullets for 10 minutes, it's really dumb.
That reminds me, it wasn't on my list, but I would put it under a poorly designed boss, the Tyrant from Resident Evil Survivor. The first-person shooter on PlayStation 1.
Okay.
I mean, already a crappy game, but this boss is supposed to be the last boss. It's a tyrant. In other versions, you always need a rocket launcher to beat him. In this one, you can run out of ammo, except for your pistol. It's always got infinite ammo. And I ended up beating him with a pistol because I ran out of everything else, and all I had to do was, he would dash at you. You just run to the side, turn, shoot. He's going to dash at you again. Run to the side, turn, shoot. And I just did that for I don't know how long, but it was just over and over and over again. And finally he went down. I never got touched. I was just like, that was bad.
Yeah, it just sucks when it's like you're really excited to finish the game and then the monotony sets in. You know, like, it just really takes the wind out of your sails. You're like, oh, like, I fought through this awesome game, or maybe it wasn't awesome in the case of Resident Evil Survivor, and now I got a popcorn fart boss. You know?
It's like, can I just press skip?
Yeah. All right, Deucy, go ahead with your next one on the list.
Okay, like you said, we're kind of wrapping it up. I'm down to just a couple left. One of them, it goes with what you said about, like, it totally takes you out of the game you've been playing. And I will preface this by saying I don't even know if I saw the last boss, but it's the last area of Dead Space 2. Where leading up to the boss is this gauntlet of enemies. And I have the unfortunate save point where I'm low on ammo.
Oh god, those are the worst. Yeah.
So I can't get through this gauntlet of enemies. But the reason I consider it bad or maybe poorly designed is Dead Space and Dead Space 2 were all based on like survival horror in space, where you have low ammo and it's just a few enemies here and there that pop out and scare you or chase you. Why now am I in this like crazy Call of Duty action shooter just to get to the last boss? Like, and I don't have the ammo for that because the game wasn't built that way.
Yeah, I'm never a fan of when it's when a game does that, where like it flips the coin. You're like, I don't know what you guys were thinking at this point, but this is not what I was playing for the last 15 hours.
Yeah, and I definitely, if I had known, maybe I would have saved up a little more.
Yeah, and that's what sucks. It's like, I try to get in the habit of making multiple saves, but sometimes like those multiple saves, you're still kind of low on resources and you're kind of on limited ammo or health or whatever else, and it's like, all right, well, I guess I got to figure out some cheap way to beat this, or stumble through it and hope there's drops.
I got to MacGyver my way through it or just bully my way through.
Yeah. All right, I got two more that I can talk about here, and I'll start with Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, the final 3 boss gauntlet, which I really love this game. I'm hoping that they'll do a remake, a remaster, re-release, something, because I still enjoy playing it. Like, I was actually playing on my PC on an emulator. I have it on a PS2. I was playing on the Steam Deck even, which is really great. But the last 3 bosses are a gauntlet. You fight Shang Tsung, Kintaro, and then you fight Shao Kahn all in a row without... I don't think you can refill the health either. I don't remember. Maybe you get like some health back or something. But you're limited, right? It's not like you could take a break and refill on your health or wherever else. And Shao Kahn especially is Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
So he's difficult as hell. He has multiple phases where like he has like this... I forgot if it's like a giant charge attack or what it is, but it does an insane amount of damage. And then, God forbid, you die. You have to do all 3 all over again. So I understood what they were doing because this is supposed to be like the big culmination of the story and everything, but this was like just a little too much. Like, give me like a checkpoint right before Shao Kahn or even right before Kintaro or something. But 3 insane boss fights, it's just heavy.
What's wild is I love this game too. Probably my favorite Mortal Kombat game of any type. And I don't remember that at all. I guess my love of the game leading up to that like totally blocked out any bad memories I had from bosses.
And I wouldn't say it's like a terrible boss fight. It's just overly difficult. You know? Like, it's just too damn hard.
Unnecessary.
And just unnecessary. Like, give me something in there to say like, yeah, you've made it, Just get the Shao Kahn because it's going to be hell no matter what.
Yeah, at least maybe do Shang Tsung and Kintaro back to back and then give you a little rest spot before Shao Kahn or something.
And then I'm going to call it my last one since I don't have too much to say, and I'll have you finish our boss list to start. So this one's really freaking hard. It was a Ruby Weapon on Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yeah.
So there's 2 I don't know if we want to call them endgame boss fights, but there's 2 really, really, really difficult boss fights in Final Fantasy VII. One's with Emerald Weapon, which I have beaten when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was hellacious. And there's Ruby Weapon, which is this desert, like, giant mech-looking thing that has, like, these tendrils, like, pincers on him. Insanely difficult because he can... I forgot what the attack's called, but he can... For one, he can kill your certain characters in one hit. He can make certain characters disappear because it's like quicksand or something like that.
Yeah, sandstorm or something
Sandstorm,
like that.
Something like that, yeah. And then he has, like, I forgot how much HP. It must be nearly 1 million or something obnoxious. It's insane.
99999.
Yeah, so you have to be, like, well prepared, know your strategy in and out, which I couldn't do it back then. Like, I tried so many times, I just failed. And really the reward you get for this, which is a pretty good reward, but you don't have to get it, you get the Desert Rose, which allows you to trade for a gold chocobo, which... the gold chocobo in Final Fantasy VII allows you to traverse anywhere around the world with the little chicken guys.
Yeah.
They can go anywhere, like up mountains in them, and you need the gold chocobo to get Knights of the Round, which is like in this small island volcano thing somewhere in the map. So you can beat Ruby Weapon to get that, or you can go through the hell of breeding a gold chocobo, which takes forever too.
Which you must have, because I remember you had Knights of the Round.
I did, yeah. So I went the breeding the chocobo way with all the Gayashal greens and wherever the hell else, and oh my god, what a freaking nightmare that was.
What did Emerald Weapon get you? I know that was pretty cool too.
I can't remember because I did beat him because he was underwater. He looked like he kind of reminded me like Airman from Mega Man 2, like with his look.
Oh, nice.
Like he had vents and like a dome thing. I don't remember what I got from him, but he was also hellacious. But he didn't have any attacks that I recall that would it really what it was is like Ruby Weapon, like just taking out one of your party members, like completely like with quicksand.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you're one person down and hope that's not someone you're relying on.
Yeah.
You know? So I wouldn't say this is a terrible boss fight so much that it's insanely difficult. And I wasn't a fan of it because it's just like, it's optional, but I'm like, I'm not really comfortable with how stupidly difficult this thing is.
I would say any boss, not even a boss, any of the enemies in any of the Final Fantasies that can one hit you.
Oh yes,
those are bad.
Yeah, yeah, just for no reason, no matter what your defense is, no matter what
Yeah.
gear you have, it's really annoying when that happens.
You're like, what are you doing? Because then at that point, you're wasting a turn to revive them, and then it could just hit the next guy.
Yeah, and that's it. And then one person's dead, and that's it. You just get deflated.
You're
and
on
you
an
lose.
endless loop of revivals.
Yeah. All right, Deucy. Well, go ahead and hit us with the final boss in this list.
Mine is, we're finally into modern times, and it is any Inquisitor in Jedi Fallen Order.
I can agree with that to most, especially the last boss.
And this actually, it triggered my memory, not even the last boss, but it's who's the main sister that you're fighting? The ninth sister.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to say the first time you meet her, not in the little prequel train level, because I don't think you fight her there. I think you fight one of the other ones. But the first time you fight her, it's in like a cave. And I just couldn't beat her. And this is, I think, what made people compare this Star Wars game to Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Was because like you could do all this adventuring and you could do all this exploration, and it was very much like a Metroidvania until you hit a boss, and not even a boss. It had to be this Jedi boss or Sith boss, and then it was all of a sudden freaking, you better know the blocks and parries and dodges, and she will immediately take your life bar. And I said, you know what? Screw this. We're in this modern age where games are basically playable movies, and I want to see this story. So I knocked it down. I didn't knock it down to story difficulty.
I think there was like an easy mode still.
I did at least knock it down to easy. I was like, I'm not that proud. Like, I will go on easy because I just want to see this game. This game is awesome.
Yeah.
But I can't experience it if I'm stuck in this cave.
Yeah. So fun story with this game is I loved it immediately. The bosses are really hard, and I was dumb where I started on hard and I played through the game on hard because I thought there was an achievement for that, right? I usually like to get my achievements sometimes, and especially if I feel good about a game, because I'm pretty good at like these, action, Devil May Cry kind of action games. And I got to the last boss, who again encapsulates everything you just said, where like I would parry her, but she would instantly parry me back, or I would parry her and she would just block everything I have. The openings are really stupid. Like your force abilities don't help you much. It again, it kind of breaks everything you've learned or to do in this game. And I would agree with you. I think the bosses in Jedi Fallen Order are not great for the most part, but they improved them a lot in Jedi Survivor, which was I put that on my best of 2023 list because that game it's a much better refined experience than Fallen Order is. Like it's a Metroidvania. I would say it's a Metroidvania, and the bosses are a lot more fair, because I would say like the one thing I did hate about Fallen Order were the bosses. And then also stupid of me, I forgot his freaking name, but he's on Darth Maul's planets. He's one of the last bosses. He's like the second or third to last boss. He's like the guy with the long hair. He's shirtless, like the buff shirtless guy. I don't remember his freaking name.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to that boss. I thought I was pretty thorough in this game, too, as far as collectibles. I got to him and beat him with two of the health tanks. And our friend Randy was playing the game at the time too, or maybe it was our friend Mike. I forgot which one it was. Randy. He told me, he's like, "Oh, you could get more of the health capsules." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been finding collectibles around. Like, how did I not find more health canisters?
Once again, this game was truly a Metroid game to you.
And I felt so stupid because again, this is like the second to last boss, or it's like a couple bosses before. And then I didn't beat him yet with the two canisters. So I went and got canisters because I looked and I was like, "Oh, Jesus!" Like. Yeah. It was right where I really was. Like, I looked everywhere but there, like several times apparently. So I got a few more canisters and I beat him fine. But then I got to the last boss, who was infinitely worse than him.
Yeah. Canisters don't help in that case.
No, they don't. And by then, I had 4 or 5. But yeah, the boss fights in that game are pretty trash. I'm not a fan.
There's easy, medium, hard, and then dawn level.
Yeah, which is stupid, I would say, in some instances. I felt so dumb because I beat it. I was like, oh, I didn't get an achievement for hard. And I looked at the list like, Oh God, I did all that for nothing. All right, well, I would say it's a good way to end our list. Really,
Yeah.
ends with some BS. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening to us. And if you want to send us some of your worst and toughest bosses, please let us know what we've missed, and what we should continue to miss.
Yeah, we'll avoid it. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, send us a note at LegionGamingPod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at LegionGamingPod and also on Instagram at LegionGamingPodcast. Deucy, any final words for our friends who've been through this hellacious journey of boss fights?
Just game over.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.